Hi folks, well it's another wonderful day. Yesterday 99.92% of school lunches were delivered in full on time. I just like to update people every now and then. Happy to take any other questions.
Does that mean that the program is on track now?
Well, we're getting outstanding delivery. If you ask an airline, a courier, anyone else that has to do on-time delivery, are they getting 99.92% frequently? Yeah, we are. We're almost always over 98, usually in the 99 or even 100% on-time delivery some days. That's pretty incredible, and I've had other people in business who have said to me, look, what you guys are doing is a real standout, plus we're finding that the children like the food, so 73% said that they like the Term 3 menu. If you're a parent used to feeding your kids lunch, if you're winning 73% of the time, you mark that up.
Are you aware?
Oh look, accepting when we had challenges, we needed to overcome them and solve them, and now we've got a program that's half the cost of Labor scheme, delivering on time almost every single time, and the children love the food, so it's win-win-win.
And so a question about the Reserve Bank. Are you aware of Neil Quigley sending Adrian Orr a statement of concerns about his conduct in the lead up to his resignation?
Look, I'm not aware of that. The Minister responsible for the Reserve Bank is Nicola Willis, so I'd expect her to be aware of that if a Minister was, but I have not heard of that.
Are you comfortable in the information that the Reserve Bank has provided the public around what led to Adrian Orr's resignation?
Look, I think what's really important is that we've got a search underway to get a Reserve Bank governor who's going to keep inflation under control. I know there's a lot of drama and back and forth, and I've got involved in trying to question that, and not from opposition in the past. But I think actually when it comes down to it, what people want is prices under control with monetary policy well managed.
There are serious allegations, though, that basically the Reserve Bank board has lied to the public around what led to Adrian Orr's resignation. We need to investigate those allegations. Have you heard of those, and what's your response to them?
Well, if the Reserve Bank board was lying to the public, that would be extremely serious. It's also a very serious accusation to make, so the right thing to do is to let the responsible Minister, Nicola Willis, get to the bottom of it. If the accusations are false, that's very serious. If the accusations are true, that's very serious.
You're an Associate Finance Minister. Surely you would have some sort of idea about what was going on behind the scenes and if it was all kosher.
Well, my role as Associate Finance Minister, I'm responsible for certain state-owned enterprises, budgets and cost savings and overseas investment, and also monetary policy, but not the operations. So it's like everyone who's an Associate Finance Minister has specific things they're responsible for, not the whole shooting match.
Did you have any concerns about Adrian Orr while he was in the job as Reserve Bank Governor?
Well, my only concern is that inflation was too high for too long and it hurt too many people.
Did you have any concerns?
Well, he's the guy that's responsible for inflation. That was always my concern.
So then yes.
Well, I was always concerned that inflation was too high, and I think personally they went far too hard during COVID. I'm on the record saying this. They published themselves that they depressed government borrowing rates by a full percentage point at the height of COVID. That effectively subsidised a bad COVID response. We're all paying for that now. If Adrian Orr's responsible for anything, it's that we are still paying the COVID debt that he racked up by printing money too fast back then.
The government be doing something about
Labour government.
Beg your pardon?
So the responsibility for that doesn't lie with the previous government.
Well, it lies in part with Grant Robertson, who signed the guarantee for the Reserve Bank to go out and print money through things like the large-scale asset purchasing program, which were basically just, butter today and none tomorrow. That's basically where we're at these days, is that we are still dealing with the interest rates and the inflation that come from that period when the Reserve Bank under Adrian Orr effectively subsidised the government's COVID response, and they admitted it. They took a full percentage point off the government's borrowing. Well, I wish we had that luxury now, but we don't. We've got the hangover from their binge.
On the topic of inflation, should the government be doing anything about the price of butter?
Look, the fact is the price of butter is set in global auctions. For the New Zealand government to intervene in that would be a pretty wild thing to do. By the way, New Zealand farmers are leading an economic recovery right now, in part because sheep, beef and dairy prices are high. I think the real challenge is that those prices are too high for many New Zealanders, and the ultimate solution is to ensure that we get more investment, less red tape, more productivity, so that New Zealanders can afford to pay those global prices that are actually leading an economic recovery for our country.
Given that, then what do you make of Nicola Willis putting the spotlight on the Chief Executive of Fonta?
Well, I don't think that's what she's doing. I mean, I'm meeting Miles Hurrell this afternoon. No one's accusing me of putting the spotlight on him. I look forward to talking to him, and I'm sure Nicola will too. And then there's people who go out there and say, oh, you know, Nicola Willis should understand the price of butter. I'm sure she does, but bear in mind, he asked her for the meeting, and that's not the only thing they're talking about, as I understand it.
Will you be asking him questions?
Beg your pardon?
Is there anything Fonterra can do?
No, Fonterra's job is to get the best possible price for New Zealand exports. It's not their job to try and, you know, reduce the amount of money coming into the New Zealand economy. That would be crazy. It is the job of the government and the wider New Zealand economy to raise productivity so we can afford all the things we need. And just remember, right now, I mean, I filled up my tank the other day. It was $2.35 for 91, $2.50 for 95, if I recall. That's not so bad right now. However, it could be that in a year's time, dairy's down, which will be bad for the New Zealand economy, oil's up, which should also be bad for the New Zealand economy. We'll have a different set of issues. The solution to all of those is higher incomes.
So what's your
on your
message to
agenda?
consumers when it comes to, you know, concern around the price of butter? What's your message to consumers?
There are things the government can change and there are things that can't change. What we are changing is managing our own finances carefully, reducing the price of council rates, making sure that red tape that pushes up prices is going away. We do all of those things right, then a lot of things become more affordable. And you can see at the same time, you know, rents are coming down, mortgage rates are coming down. So there are other prices that the government can more directly control, which are coming down.
What will you be speaking to Miles Hurrell about during the meeting?
Oh, I'm going to ask him how he's finding the political and economic environment. I'm going to be really interested in what they think about the gene tech bill, for example, because there's been some questioning around that. I want to know what Fonterra thinks about it. I'm going to be asking them how they're finding the resource management environment, because obviously, you know, they need farmers to provide, well, their members are farmers who, you know, need to be able to farm and actually produce milk, otherwise the whole thing doesn't work so well. And just interested to see what his commentary is on the ease of doing business globally, because, you know, there's a lot of questions about trade out there in the world. I can't think of a New Zealand organisation that's more exposed to trade than Fonterra, so we're asking about all of that.
So nothing specific on retail dairy prices?
Look, I'll ask him what his view is, but, you know, I mean, I think I know what he's going to say.
Is Fonterra doing a bit of
The global dairy trade sets the price.
Is Fonterra doing a bit of speed dating today? Is that what's going on?
I'm sure he's just making good use of his time while he's in Wellington, meeting as many people as he can. And I don't know how many politicians the poor guy has to meet, but I feel a bit sorry for him.
You're talking about the cost that, you know, it's that they don't have to bring down the price there. The whole thing is just to get the best price that they can for farmers. Do you think that there's a risk that at some point there becomes a volumes question? If Kiwis can no longer afford to buy New Zealand dairy, does that potentially pose an issue to Fonterra, or because they can sell globally it's not an issue?
Well, I think the challenge for New Zealand is to become a high-wage economy. Remember, we can actually import dairy products from other countries if we want to. It's just New Zealand farmers are so good, why would you try? So I don't think it's incumbent on them to supply the New Zealand market. The real challenge is we need productivity growth. Productivity growth has been in the tank. I think it was 1.4% the decade before last, 0.2% in the last decade. We can't go on like that.
Another subject, do you have private health insurance?
Me, I do.
And do you think that's appropriate? Some medical health professionals have come out today saying MPs and ministers shouldn't have it because it insulates them from the decisions around the public health system.
Well, that's an interesting argument. I think at the end of the day, you want a range of people to come forward and be representatives of their communities. I represent my community and people who support ACT. I don't think that you should have to fit into a certain ideological straitjacket to do that.
Did this supermarket fast track announcement, did that get ahead of National? Did you get ahead of Nicola Willis with that?
Not at all. I mean, every year I give a speech at ACT's conference about what the ACT Party stands for, and that doesn't relate to what anyone else is talking about. My role as the leader of ACT is my role as the leader of ACT. It's not up to anyone else to say that you're too far ahead, although it's fair to say it's not the first time I've been accused of being ahead of my time.
She said she's been working on it for longer than you.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think that New Zealanders want politicians to be squabbling about whose idea it was. I think what they want to see is an idea that fixes things, and once you get into that sort of he said, she said, question is, you're making the boat go faster? Probably not.
What discussions have you had with your coalition partners about taking this from an ACT Party policy to a government policy?
Oh, look, I've raised it and suggested it various times. I haven't had formal meetings or anything, but I think they're well aware of the policy and the possibility, and all I'd say is watch the space.
And you started
Yeah, sorry, you guys go. Yeah.
talking about school lunches. You're talking about the favourability for students and delivery on time. Have you had any recent food safety reports? What are those saying?
Oh, I think there was an improvement notice issued last week, but that happens fairly regularly. I mean, we're doing, almost 750,000 meals a day. Sorry, 750,000 meals a week. Sorry, it's not unusual that somebody somewhere will identify an issue, then we fix it.
Another poll out today is showing that the government's not performing terribly well in the public's mind around matters including the cost of living. I think it said that only 38% believe the government deserved to be re-elected, 48% thought it was time to give another party a go. What do you make of that?
Well, it's the middle of winter, the economy's tough. It's not that surprising that people are down on the government, but they'll also be judging us on the results of our policies in a year's time. I think the work we're doing now, cutting red tape, saving money, spreading a bit of positivity, is a very good contrast with the opposition, who've got lots of criticism, but no responsibility for getting us in this mess, and no ideas of their own. Even the ACT Party's worst enemies think that we put out a lot of policy ideas, and we've just got a complaint about putting out an idea right now. I look at these guys and think if I was them in opposition, I'd be putting out a lot more ideas.
Did you get asked about the joint statement on Gaza?
Yeah, look, obviously the Middle East is a very, very tough place for anybody, but you can understand when our allies are now asking the question, is this right? That we've got so much violence over such a long time. New Zealand should be standing up and being counted with our allies. Also, just make the point, the statement is very clear. Hamas needs to release the hostages. So many people focus on Israel, they forget the October 7 attacks, they forget that those poor hostages have been held for this length of time. If you're truly compassionate, you look at both sides.
What's your response to growing, description that this constitutes a genocide or ethnic cleansing?
Well, again, I just get offended when people misuse terms like genocide. I know that there are people who have sought to have a declaration like that made by the courts. I don't think that is what is happening here. But hey, look, everyone's entitled to an opinion. All right, folks, I actually should go to the House, but last question.
What do you mean you don't think that's what's happening here?
Because a genocide is a very specific and deliberate act. This is a case of a group of people who attacked a country, took a whole lot of hostages, continue to hold them. If they really thought that they could stop a genocide by releasing their hostages, why wouldn't they? All right, thank you very much.
How's the grades?
Oh, look, this is one of the worst examples of Radio New Zealand misrepresenting the basic facts. There's no graze, there's a little bit of salt, but this is mostly pepper. Thank you very much.